What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo have interesting face-to-face at Fighter Hotel. When fighters run into one another prior to fight night, usually tensions run pretty high. In addition to the fact that the fight is right around the corner, the added stress of cutting weight means that tempers can often flare. As we've seen in the past, fighters like Jorge Masvidal and Kevin Holland have gotten into shouting matches with one another, while in other instances, fighters like Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria have gotten in physical altercations. This week, ahead of their highly anticipated UFC 288 showdown on Saturday, Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo ran into one another at the Fighter Hotel. Although the two kept things amicable, the face-to-face quickly drew a bit of attention from fans.
I am. This has been a good camp for me. It's been a good camp. We have a solid team, and my job's to get it done, dude. You know, and I know how much you want, defend. You're in your backyard, but I'm ready, dude. I'm ready.
I hope so, man. It's gonna be a good show for the fans. That's what I care about. As long as it's a good show, I know I'm gonna make my money. I'm gonna do it in a good way and put on a good performance. And I'm sorry, man, but fortunately, this is how the game goes. You gotta crush another man's dreams,
Of course, many self-proclaimed body language experts have been quick to give their take on what transpired between these two men, with some of the mindset that Cejudo seemed to be more comfortable during the exchange, and others of the mindset that the champ seems to be supremely confident ahead of the clash. One interesting stat that many have continued to reference leading up to the scrap is that fighters over 35 years old entering championship bouts are just 2 and 28 from 125 to 170 pounds. Given that Cejudo is 36 years old and coming off a 3-year-long layoff, many are wondering if he'll look the same as he did before his retirement. It's also important to note that Sugar Sean O'Malley, who has been the bantamweight #1 contender since his controversial victory over Peter Yan at UFC 280, will be cage side for the event, given that he's next up for the winner. When Cejudo and Sterling step into the octagon on Saturday night, how do you see things playing out? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Jorge Masvidal weighs in on UFC 288 title eliminator. At UFC 288, Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns will compete in a highly anticipated title eliminator fight that will see the winner earn a crack at the winner of the upcoming Leon Edwards-Colby Covington title fight. Ahead of the bout, the MMA community has remained split in regard to who they think earns the title of #1 contender. With fight night right around the corner, Jorge Masvidal has weighed in on the bout during a recent interview with MMA Junkie, saying,
I think Belal has, in the cardio department, more advantages in the grappling, I think. As in, I think Gilbert has a little bit more different weapons with a little bit better power than maybe Belal. So I think it's going to be a very interesting, good fight. I could see either one of them winning, actually. I think Belal's a little cleaner with the boxing.
Of course, there's been plenty of talk regarding whether or not the BMF will return to active competition following his retirement at UFC 287. So far, it seemed as though he plans to stick to the sidelines. Despite that, during a recent interview with ESPN, he admitted that he'll never fully close the door on a return to MMA, given how much love he has for the sport. At the same time, however, he admitted that his reflexes and his reaction time have taken quite a significant dip in recent years, leading him to believe that his time in the sport has come and gone. Do you think we'll ever see him return to the octagon? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. UFC fight updates. This week saw 3 bouts added to upcoming cards, with 2 of the announced fights scheduled for the same event. Without further ado, let's jump right in. First up on the calendar, we have a clash between Kai Kara-France and Amir Albazi on tap for June 3rd. The fight will see Kara-France look to bounce back from an interim flyweight title fight loss to Brandon Moreno back at UFC 277 last summer. On the flip side, Albazi will be riding plenty of momentum into the fight. Since signing with the UFC in 2020, he's rattled off 4 straight wins, with the latest being a December KO win over Alessandro Costa. Next up on the calendar, we have 2 fights added to the upcoming July 22nd card, where Mark Diakiese will compete against Joel Alvarez and Chris Duncan will compete against Yanal Ashmouz. Diakiese will be looking to bounce back from a December loss to Michael Johnson, while Joel Alvarez will look to bounce back from a TKO loss to Arman Tsarukyan over a year ago. In addition, Chris Duncan will look to rattle off his 4th straight victory following a UFC 286 split decision victory in his UFC debut. His opponent, Yanal Ashmouz, will be looking to keep his undefeated streak going after winning his debut fight at UFC 286. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. One Championship decides not to offer Francis Ngannou contract. Ariel Helwani provides update. Ever since Francis Ngannou and the UFC parted ways, there's been quite a bit of talk regarding what the former champ's next move could be. On one hand, many believe he'll make the transition to compete in professional boxing first, before then returning to MMA. On the other hand, many seem to think that Ngannou will get left hanging with boxers like Tyson Fury, no longer interested in a fight. Reports surfaced early this week indicating that Ngannou and One Championship's Chatri Sityodtong had a meeting, but the promotion decided ultimately they would not be offering him a contract. As Chatri revealed in a text message to South China Morning Post, the promotion and Ngannou were not aligned on non-financial matters, meaning that Ngannou wasn't necessarily pricing himself out of negotiations. Ariel Helwani was quick to provide an update from Ngannou himself, who revealed that he's actually preparing to sign a deal with another promotion, and that's why he and One Championship didn't reach an agreement.
Francis is very close to signing a new deal, and with another promotion. And according to Francis, he was very upfront about this. And so they left the meeting on good terms, but, both of them came to an understanding that because he had already, kind of verbally committed to someone, more than likely he's not going to one.
Right now, the expectation is that Ngannou will sign with the PFL. However, so far, nothing has been announced. Given that he's already negotiated with One Championship and BKFC, it sounds as though the PFL and Bellator are the only two big MMA promotions left that could offer him a contract. Whether or not he still winds up competing in professional boxing, only time will tell. Stay tuned for updates as they become available. Anthony Smith weighs in on Jon Jones' future. After Jon Jones defeated Ciryl Gane at UFC 285, the talk quickly shifted to a future title defense against Stipe Miocic. Initially, it sounded as though the fight would take place at International Fight Week. However, negotiations seemingly wound up stalling. UFC President Dana White revealed that the fight would no longer take place this summer at UFC 290 as initially planned. However, the two would in fact fight in the future. Since then, Sergey Pavlovich cemented his place as one of the division's most exciting contenders, knocking out Curtis Blaydes in a highly anticipated fight that saw him quickly inserted into the heavyweight title picture. Although many have called for Pavlovich to get the next crack at the title, given that Stipe Miocic has not competed since March of 2021, light heavyweight contender Anthony Smith believes that a fight against Pavlovich likely doesn't entice Jon Jones very much. During a recent interview with Low Kick MMA, he weighed in on the situation, trying to see things from Jones' perspective as talk of potential retirement looms on the horizon.
Jon's a little bit older than I am, so I'm sure that he's having those same, all right, this is a lot of fun and I'm going to keep doing this for a little bit. There's other stuff that I'm sure that Jon wants to do. And after that, how excited is Jon really going to be for a Sergey Pavlovich,
With no updates in regards to when Jones and Miocic could face off, fans have been left to speculate as to how the UFC will handle the heavyweight title picture. Do you think we'll wind up seeing Jones and Miocic square off inside the octagon? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have a UFC fighter pulling out of UFC 288. Bryce Mitchell is out of his fight against Movsar Evloev and has been replaced with Diego Lopez. Bryce Mitchell appeared on UFC 288's Embedded Episode 1 and appeared to have purple blotches around his shoulder. He was then pulled from his fight, leaving fans to speculate that he was injured, and the test which made the purple blotches in his shoulder came back positive, resulting in him being removed from UFC 288. What do you think of these last-minute changes to UFC 288? Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with MMA news every day. Here are the top comments from yesterday's video. Damn, Usman is making me a fan. He handled that loss to Leon with class, and calling out Khamzat is a solid move. Leon watching Khamzat smash Kamaru. Leon, don't let him bully you, son. A killer like Luque being on a 2-fight losing streak just shows how much talent is in the UFC. Intimidated Connor was like, thank God this stare down isn't real. And those were the top comments from yesterday's video. If you want to be featured on our next video, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to check out yesterday's video in case you missed it.